What's up, guys? It's me from the future. Ooh, time travel. Ooh. Um, I'm just gonna put this here in the beginning of this video. I just wanted to kind of talk to y'all for a second. Um, I was gonna make this video about a couple different things I was working on the Bronco. Once I got to kind of editing, I realized that it was going to be a little bit longer of a video, and I'm trying to make my videos a little longer, or a little shorter, I'm sorry, not longer. Because all my videos have been 30 minutes plus, and according to the analytics, I'm only getting about 15 minutes maximum viewing time. So I'm going to shoot for about 15 to 20 minutes per video for now until I get my channel kind of grown to where I can do some longer videos. But right now, just until I've gotten established and gotten to where I've got more people that are liking my videos and watching, I'm going to try and shoot for about 15, 20 minutes. So with that said, in this video, I said I was going to do some other things like work on radiator hose and stuff like that. I just ended up recording me doing fuel pump. I went to kind of start getting a jump start on editing the video, and that's when I realized that it was, a little bit longer. So I'm gonna kind of, I got to cut down to about 20, just about under 25 minutes. With this put in there, it may be about 25, 24, 25 minutes. So a little bit longer than I was shooting for, but not too bad. I want my videos to be entertaining for y'all to watch, and informative if they can be. I have a tendency to go through and just ramble, and that's kind of what takes up some of my video time. So I'm gonna try not to ramble as much. I'm gonna try and make them a little bit more informative, and I really want them to be entertaining for y'all. And I'm still figuring it out. I mean, obviously a new channel. Not been doing this very long, so I'm still just kind of trying to find my footing and get my pacing down on my videos and everything. So, but like I said, I want them to be entertaining. I want y'all to enjoy watching them. I want to be able to have interactions. I want y'all to comment, and I'll reply to comments as much as I can. Kind of some stuff like that, because I want my channel to grow. I want to get big, because I'd like to get to the point where I get to meet some people. Be kind of fun. Maybe one thing I've thought about is eventually, once I get big enough, maybe doing like a bronco meet, or something like that down here in Texas. Because from what I've seen in my area, there's really not anything, So if there's other people in my area that have broncos and they kind of want to meet up, kind of like a car meet kind of type deal, it'd be something I think would be kind of fun if I get big enough, have enough people watching. So anyways, so if y'all have any critiques on my videos, comment. Let me know. I want to know what y'all want to see. I want to know what y'all will find more entertaining. What can I change in my filming? What can I change in my commentary? What can I change? Stuff like that. Because like I said, I do want to be entertaining for y'all. I want this channel to grow. It's something that I have thought about doing for a long time, doing YouTube. And I finally just, whenever, it's been back February, I believe, when I posted my first video, I finally just decided, what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the plunge and do it. So like I said, I want to grow. I want y'all to be entertained. I want to grow a community. So anyways, so with that said, the first thing that I kind of want to do to kind of see if I can get y'all kind of interacting with me a little bit is I need a name for the Bronco. Because I need something. I mean, my videos have been, the titles have been kind of all over the place. They've been 1991 Ford Brick Nose Bronco, and then Restoration, and then Brick Nose Bronco Revival, or Brick Nose Bronco Restoration. And I want a name for the Bronco so that I can title my videos for that and be a bit more consistent on that. So if y'all have any suggestions for a name for the Bronco, comment, let me know. Maybe I'll do a poll or something, and maybe the most popular one out of whatever y'all comment will win out, or maybe something like that. I'll just, I'll figure out once once I kind of get some comments, you know, some names or whatever. So anyways, so with that said, I'm going to end this little blurb here. It's going to be in the beginning of this video. So anyways, thank y'all for watching my videos. So yeah, you know, just like, comment, subscribe, you know, let me know what y'all think about my videos. I really want to know what y'all think. If you've got any critiques on the filming, commentary, you know, I know I've already said that, but I just kind of want to reiterate that I want to hear feedback. So anyways, let's get into the video. What's up, everybody? Nathan with Rocket Donkey Garage, and welcome back to another video on the Bronco project. Today we're gonna, or actually this video, we're gonna do a few kind of more random things. Not really one particular thing for the whole video. But on today we're gonna start out with changing my fuel pump. So whenever I set my timing the other day, I was still having some trouble with it starting. Trying to get y'all set up. There we go. Anyways, whenever I was starting it the other day, where I was setting my timing, I noticed that it seemed like it took a while to start. Next day I went out and tried to start it, and I had to cycle the key several times and crank it several times before it would actually finally catch and start. Which leads me to believe, that issue leads me to believe that the check valve on inside the fuel pump has went bad and it's losing its prime. I've not actually done any testing on the fuel rail or anything like that, because I needed to put a new fuel pump anyways. When I bought my fuel pump hanger, it was used, had a used pump with it, so I kind of took a risk that it was good. It pumps, but I think, like I said, I think the check valve was bad, and I believe that the pump could be a little weak, so we're gonna change it out. I got a cheap one just for the time being, from O'Reilly's, Master Pro, 1-year warranty. And so we're gonna pull the old pump, we're gonna pull the fuel hanger out, and we're gonna swap the pump over. This is the cheaper way of doing this. You can actually get a more expensive pump just by itself, but if your pump goes out, this is the cheaper way of doing it versus buying the whole hanger. So anyways, we're gonna get started. I have not pulled the hanger out yet, so I'm gonna crawl up in the bed, get y'all set up, and we'll pull the hanger out, and then once we get it out, get the fuel lines disconnected and everything, we'll come back to the tailgate and we'll work on swapping this pump in. So let me pause, get y'all set up, and we'll see how things go. Okay, so I've got access to everything. As y'all can see, I've got a flap right here. I didn't cut that, previous owner did. I've got a piece of metal to go back in there. I just have not actually put it in yet. Probably will be doing that, maybe possibly in this video. What I'm going to actually end up doing is I'm going to get some riv nuts, and so that way, and go around the perimeter of all of this, so that way I have access to it, since it's already cut out, and I'll have access to it where I don't have to cut, or I don't have to drop the tank, I mean. So anyways, we're going to get started. So first, for these fuel pumps, you got to get the lines off, which is a tab right there and a tab right there. I've actually already pulled the connector on the, I believe, 87 through 91 Broncos. They actually have a different plug set up. This is from a later model Bronco. I've actually got the old hanger here. So what this one had was this setup, this plug type. Somebody, previous owner, messed it up and also took the gauge off of it and everything, and they just had it hardwired to a switch on the dash. I didn't like that. I wanted my pump to run off the key. Bought the later model because, from my understanding, that particular plug style was discontinued by Ford. So if you got to put a new hanger in, you've got to buy the later model from the 92s through 96s. Everything fits exactly. You just got to wire in the round connector pigtail, because the hanger has its own separate pigtail instead of the plug actually plugging in on top of the hanger. So anyway, we're going to get the fuel lines off. We'll start by prying them up just a little bit. Okay, over here on the tailgate. So I've actually not ever just swapped the pump itself out, but as far as I can tell, it's these two screws right here. Got to come out, and the fuel lines will pull loose, I think, from here. So we're gonna try and see. If not, it did come with a little wedge tool right here that you use. So we're gonna pull these screws loose. They are probably going to be, they look like quarters. Can't use my 6-in-1 here, just go kind of old school. And y'all can probably hear my diesel idling in the background. I pulled a bonehead move last week due to being kind of sleep deprived, and I accidentally put about 6 gallons of gas in it, and she quit running on me because I didn't have enough diesel in the tank. And so what I finally, actually yesterday, got to siphon the tank out, and I finally today got to get some fresh diesel put in it and put some in the fuel bowl and everything. So I'm letting it idle for a little bit, getting all the gas and everything, that nasty gas out of the line. But yeah, bonehead move. Moral of the story: don't put diesel in your gas, or gas in your diesel. Either way. So anyways, so that was actually pretty easy. Everything come loose, didn't end up needing a wedge tool. I'm going to grab my wiring pliers and we're going to cut this wire. And I've got some little heat shrink deals with some solder in it. That's what we're going to use to put this together, so that way I have a good liquid tight connection. So I'm going to grab my wiring pliers. They're just right over here, and we'll get the pump swapped out. Okay. So I'm going to probably, I guess I'm going to cut these wires above these old solder connections. It looks like this pump may have been replaced at some point. So I'm going to put my connections above there, strip these wires out. Strip this one out. Do a little more on this one. And then that is ready to go. Set the old pump over here to the side. And we'll see, I think these smaller ones will work, possibly. Or should I may use the big ones, or may attempt to use the bigger ones. I think I like the way that they're going to kind of hook up a little bit better. So just reverse the process. Slide everything back together. It's not really wanting to go, but there she goes. Let's pull this back out just real quick. See why that's not wanting to go. Okay, let's try it again. Well, that's odd. Not entirely sure why that's not wanting to go in. Okay, yeah, that's all it was. I just wasn't getting the goofy thing aligned right, so now I gotta find that little metal clip that goes on here. I just dropped it. I'm gonna pause and look for it, and or maybe see if I can use the old one, and then I'll pick back up whenever I find it, or decide to use the old one. Okay, I couldn't find it. I just decided to use the old one. It should be fine. So we'll stick it back in there and slip the pump back together. Be a little bit more successful this time. Okay. and that pump is put back together. So we'll put these screws back in before I forget about them. Again, there's 1/4 inch heads. Don't just get crazy with them because that is plastic. You don't want to break your new fuel pump. Okay, that part is done. Now it's just time to reconnect the wires. So this come pre-stripped, and so I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and use these bigger connectors, just because I think I would feel better about using them. Gonna go plug my heat gun in. I thought I had it plugged in, and then we'll get the wires reconnected. Okay, I got the heat gun plugged in this time. So I think we're gonna maybe wrap the wires around a couple of times just to make sure they kind of stay out of the way of the float. Okay, I like that right there. Okay, sorry, brief interruption. Stick all the wire in there. That ought to hold itself right there pretty good. Make sure y'all can see. Much happier with that. Both connections are done. Let that one cool off a little bit. While it's cooling off, so this kit, or this fuel pump, came with some different gaskets for different tank applications, I guess. Came with a new sock. Came with the new fuel line tabs, and then it did come with these 2 crimp butt connectors, but like I said, I didn't want any crimps in my tank. I wanted, and I believe that these are heat shrink ends right here, if I can pay attention and have y'all can actually see them. I think these ends heat shrink, but I like the solder better. I just think it'll last longer and it'll be better. So anyways, wires are reconnected. We're going to put the sock on. Move everything up where y'all can see. And it should just click on there just the way it looks to me. I say click, it just seems, it looks like it just presses on. A little difficult, but it's on now. Spin it a little bit. Looks like it may go better like that. And then there we go. That's a new fuel pump on the hanger. Wires are done, and the sock is put on. So I'm gonna let these cool off all the way, and then I will come back out whenever I'm ready to install it back in, prime it up, and see if it will it'll help the Bronco to run a little better. So I will I'll pick back up whenever I get it put back in, and we go to try and start her up. Alrighty, everything's cooled off. Ready to stick everything back in. Okay. Set that back on there. That one, stick it back on here. Stick the tabs in. Grab our pigtail that's trying to escape. I also need to put some more looming on the wires right here, but it's alright, no big deal. That's going to be in the future. Okay. That's already connected. I'm going to go hook the battery up, and then I'll meet y'all in the cab. And we'll cycle the key a few times and see if she'll start back up. Okay, got the battery hooked up. And cycle the key a few times. Get this thing primed up. I'd say she started up pretty good. A little more of a delay than I would like for it to have, but I don't know that it got all the way primed up. But I mean, it started. So, especially a lot easier than it did with that old pump, and this new pump is a lot quieter. So that's good. So I'm gonna let her run a little bit. I've got a little bit of power steering fluid to pour in it. My fluid is a little low, so I'm going to pour that fluid in, and then I think we're going to call it a night. And I've got some other stuff to do. It's supposed to be raining the rest of the week, so I'm probably not going to get it done this week, but I got some radiator hoses and some stuff like that to put on, so I'll include that in this video. So anyways, like something, we're going to call it a night tonight. I'll see y'all when I pick this back up.